Today we welcome Dowden onto the channel. Dowden is a producer and DJ in the deep progressive scene, with impressive releases on labels like Meanwhile, The Soundgarden, Mango Alley, and even recently signed to his dream label, Sudbeat. You may have also seen Dowden's YouTube channel where he creates some really helpful music production content. He joins us today to show us how he makes a track from start to finish using the Basic Wavez library of sounds.
Hey everybody, my name is Dowden and I'm going to be making a deep progressive house track in this video. I'm going to get as far as I can with the writing and then leave myself about an hour to do the mixdown and a little bit of a master probably if time calls for it or time allows for it. So I'm going to be doing more of like a driving deep progressive house track. So style like Sudbeat or Mango Alley or Meanwhile recordings, Juicebox recordings, or Juicebox music rather. And I've already started with a little bit of the project here just to get a starting point, because I find that the hardest part sometimes of getting a track to sound good is getting that proper loop from the beginning. So I've already spent a little bit of time testing out some different stuff. I didn't want to spend so much time actually making this initial loop because I like to experiment a lot when I'm making this first loop. Basically what I try to do is I write something and I like it, and then I change it, and then I change it again, and I change it again until I get something that I really, really like. And so this can be quite time consuming, and it just is really about experimenting with different drum loops and different bass ideas until I find something that works well with the track. So I didn't want to do that in the video because, like I said, it's very time consuming. But I'm going to get into the track, break it down first, what I've done so far and why I've done it, and then start to actually write out the rest of the track, which is going to be a bit of a challenge in the time provided. Usually it takes me quite a few hours to write tracks because I am very meticulous and I like to experiment a lot, but let's see how it goes. And shout out to Bound to Divide, Basic Wavez for inviting me on for this this video. So basically, I'm going to be using all Basic Wavez presets, samples, loops, everything's going to be Basic Wavez, and I'm going to manipulate that to the different sounds and stuff to fit into the track. But I will be using only Basic Wavez presets at least as much as I can, and the samples are going to be from the Basic Wavez different drum packs that you'll see all up in here. So starting at first, I have a kick drum, just a simple kick, probably from one of the artist packs. So it is this top and this bottom. They're both cut out right now with the EQ actually. So let me just move over to here. There we go. Nice kick. Just layering up two of those. Some overdrive on there. Some sidechain. This is just my sidechain signal, so it's like a ghost track. So I have a track that I can send the sidechain from. And drums here, I have a couple different layers of hi-hats. And the MIDI looks like this. I like to add these smaller kind of ghost notes because it really fills up the hat. I chose a pretty punchy hat because I find that I want the energy to be a little bit higher. So I've chosen this one here and duplicated a hat, brought it down, or did a different hat here for the kind of slower attack for a softer hit. And there is a shaker loop, I believe. Oh no, this is a hi-hat loop. Just to bulk it up a little bit, give it some character. There's some like basic EQ here, pulling down some of the sharpness. This one here is a shaker loop. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not, but it does bulk up the drums quite nicely. Shaker loop sounds really nice. It's pretty quiet in the background. Another hat loop. This open hat adds a lot of character to the drums. It's quiet, and what I did is I actually pitched it down 11 semitones. That's the drum loop itself. Then I pitched it down with the rest of the drums. It's like a cool textural background. And let me show you what all the drums sound like first, actually. That's pretty awesome, in my opinion. I'm a little bit biased. The clap, simple clap, 2 layers. This one's not even playing, so it's just one layer actually. Why did I turn this one off? Let's see. Maybe a little bit too long, so I'll pull off that tail. Yeah, that's nice. Lots of great claps and drums in these packs. So let me just go into the packs just to show you what these samples sound like. A lot of my students ask where I get my drum samples. I actually use the Basic Wave ones quite a bit. Like those are all really, really nice. That's just one, the BTD Drum Pack Volume 1. You know, same with the hi-hats. Definitely used in these hi-hats. Where are we here? I guess I could just scroll down. That's a really nice one. I think I'm using that one. And I would have shown you my sample selection and stuff, but to be honest, I just grabbed one of these samples that I thought sounded good in the track. There wasn't so much really thought process going into it, but it does take some time to sample different drum samples and stuff. And I wanted to focus my time more on the songwriting, but there is a lot of great samples to choose from here in these packs. And you know, even the simple hi-hat just sounds nice and clean, and that's really important to me, is that the drums sound really punchy and clean. Using that loop, shaker loop, hi-hat, like you don't have to choose too many samples when these loops already sound good too. So this is from the Shaker Loop 123. So here, and I just cut it down to just use this portion as part of the percussion loop. This is from the Deluxe Drum Pack, and I really like this one. And if I actually grab this and show you, I did take a small portion of it off. That's not right. Hold on. There we go. It's a little bit different in the original loop. I just took a smaller portion of it because I felt like it was more appropriate, because I already had this percussion here. So I took off the beginning, and it sounds like this. Just some EQ cutting down some of the sharpness, because I already have a couple hi-hats. I don't need that extra layer. And then the last one is also from Bound to Divide pack, Basic Wavez pack. I'm going to say that a lot, but let me grab, I don't even remember what this actually sounds like. So in places, yeah, it's like it's an effect impact. And I just used the very beginning of it and pitched it up 12 notes, 12 semitones, and made my own percussion. And I think this sounds really nice. I'm going to play each of the drums in succession with the kick, and you'll hear what each one is adding to the track. So right away, energy, perceived tempo. It feels fast. We have that groove. Bulk it up a little bit. Again, increasing the energy. Shaker loop, increasing the energy, filling up the hats. Open hat to give it some character. Clap. Then there's some percussion. Make it sound progressive. And then this nice top loop here to give even more percussion. It's important for these styles of the style of music. Oh, sorry, one more percussion. It's important for this style of music to have a very full sounding, well, not always, but a lot of the time, a very full sounding drum loop, because the drum loop when it feels full like this, it is a lot of ear candy, and it keeps your ears interested, because the track itself is very long, and it doesn't have too many elements usually coming in for a long time, like maybe every 32 or 64 bars. Something might come in. So you have to make your drum loop interesting as possible, so that it's catchy, it's swingy, it's groovy, and it's not hard to do if you have good drum loops like this. Or of course you can make your own drum loops, but using a nice shaker loop is one of the best ways to make your drums feel more interesting with ear candy. right? It has swing. You can even see, as well as here, that it's dynamic. It has movement. It has swing. It's interesting. It's a lot less boring to listen to. Sorry, I guess it's more exciting to listen to this than it is just to listen to this. Right? I haven't added any variation to this, just this. Right? So I would actually go in and probably do this. And I know I'm talking a lot now, but I'm just explaining everything as I go, and then I'll start to work on the track more. And yeah, this drum loop here as well, same thing. It has movement, texture, layers, and it just makes that whole drum loop feel much more interesting. And I call this an identifier because it's a hook that's very identifiable. When you hear it, it's very obvious and it really catches your attention. I actually had this over here earlier, and I felt that it was a little bit too, I think, was it here? I think it was actually here. And I felt like it was too techy. It kind of reset the ear, and it made this whole drum loop feel like it's just 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then restart. I don't know how to explain it too well, but with this, to me, it feels more rolling. When it's here, it kind of feels like it's ending the loop and restarting, where this one feels like it's flowing into the next part of the loop. It's completely arbitrary and hard to explain, but it does matter where you play some of these sounds, and it is quite important because if you're going for a certain vibe, like a techier vibe, you want your drums to feel a little bit more techy. You want, a tech house vibe has less rolling elements in the drums usually. It's more techy. I know it's a bad explanation, but little positions little movement of the position of the sounds like this can actually change the entire vibe. It can make it feel a bit more tech housey or a little more deep tech, or it can make it feel more progressive. And it's just something that you kind of feel. So it's kind of hard to explain. Up next, I have the bass, and I chose some very basic very basic bass line here because it works really well. I'm just gonna choose my kick as well. Very progressive. The side chain, which definitely needs to be pushed down more. And if I open up the preset, I'm just using one of Bound to Divide's presets, the Bound to Divide bass. So I go into here, Bass Lab Volume 2, and this one's called Able. So I will show you what that, well, I already showed you what that sounds like. And then I just adjusted the cutoff. And cut off some of the top end. It's a really nice preset. I'll actually duplicate this so you can hear what it sounds like on its own. I'll go back to the main preset. And I took off some of the settings. So I took off the reverb, the delay, probably the chorus, and brought the cutoff down. And that's what I got there. And that's like my nice strong sub. And yeah, really nice bass line. Then I have the second bass layer here. This is Bass Pluck Andromeda. So what I'm going to do is go through some of the presets as well, just to show you how nice some of these presets are, because I didn't spend time cycling through them to write this on the video. But this is Andromeda. And I just lower the pitch and cut out the low end. You can see on this one, I'm -2 and -2. And this one, I'm at 0 and 0. So that's all I did here. And this again, the Bass Lab Volume 2, I believe. Oh, this is Bass Lab Volume 3. I use these presets a lot in my new productions, actually. Might be a little high here. Let's pull the octave down so they sound more like bass notes. These are really good for progressive. Super cool. Okay, so I can get rid of that. And lastly, I have this bass pluck here. I'm just using some EQ to cut out the low end. And this is the Centurion pluck. And yeah, just as like a little bass accent. Listen to all three of those together. The kick. This is like again like a nice little hook, simple, but it really resets the listener's ear. Okay, let's play all these together. It's a little bit techy. I'm gonna try and make it more rolling as we go. Up next, we have the synths, and this one I really like is the pad. So the pad here is one of the presets called PL Above. So again, I'll go into where it's from. User, Basic Wavez Dreams Volume 4. And then this is one of the plucks called Above. And let me just duplicate this. I'll show you what other... actually, we'll go through some of the lead sounds, so I don't need to worry about that. But this pad is really cool because it like... It's really gritty. I'm going to duplicate it and just check out what the actual preset sounds like it's on its own. Okay, so what did I change? It looks like I changed none of the effects really. Oh, I turned the reverb off. And probably pitched it down. Yep, and pitched it down. Oh. And shortened the actual decay time. Looks like. Don't remember exactly what I did, but I just manipulated this a little bit. Oh yeah, I did. I shortened the decay time to 100 milliseconds. So it's more of like a stabby pluck right here. And the white noise down. Came up with this, and this is a nice way to really like, you see the white noise is much lower. Yeah. And this is one of the part, like the best parts of this track so far is this pad, because it really increases that energy and makes it feel full. And then I have some audio from Bound to Divide's Basic Wavez. I'm going to keep interchanging the names, but they are going to be the same in this context. The Basic Wavez Atmosphere. I believe I pitched it up. Yep, I pitched it up an octave. Flex Pro. Yeah. And then this one I recorded, I grabbed one of the other atmospheres. I think it was this one. Or no. Maybe this one. And I pitched it down an octave. And then I just flattened it. It was one of these ones here. I flattened it down so it's nice and low. Gives you that nice atmosphere, which also increases the tension. And lastly, just some impacts that I've been using and some sweeps. The big delay. And another impact there. And some other stuff that I was toying around with, but I don't even know if I'm going to be using atmospheric sounds. And that is everything. So now we can actually get into the writing of the rest of the track. I was toying around with this idea here, but I wanted to wait until I started writing. Another preset from Bound to Divide, Basic Wavez. So this is the Dreams 4-pack, and that is called Cravings. So Basic Wavez, Dreams Volume 4, and it's one of the plucks. Let's take a listen to everything all together now. All right, I'm gonna try and talk a little bit less now and just get into the flow, because I only have a certain amount of time and I'm already 20 minutes in and I've just basically shown you what I've done. So let's get into it. Oh, shoot. Sorry. 1 sec. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Somebody was at my front door. All right. I like that a lot. So it looks like the velocity is really triggering the different cutoff. Like when it's open. When it's closed, it's a little bit more closed. So I like that. I'm gonna put it at the beginning. Cool. And I don't know if I'm gonna make that like a big sound or like just kind of a background sound. Bass to be louder. Want the bass to have a bit more power. I'm gonna try a different bass sound here, so I'm gonna get rid of this one and just swap it out for a different preset maybe. I like that too, but I want it lower. That's cool. This pad up. Oh, I love that. Okay, cool. Keep that. Something that's really, really valuable to me when I'm writing this type of music is layers. Lots and lots of layers. Having multiple layers like this that they don't really steal the show, but they're there to add a little bit of texture and a little bit of background, and it can really elevate the overall loop. All right, like I pull these out. I could probably still fit these in. It's a little bit muddy now, but let's take these out and I'll just... I think I'll bring this in later. Oh, we're cooking now. Okay. Something like that. Oh, I forgot to label one thing. This is also from a Basic Wavez. It's one of the presets called Raw Edges, and I recorded it, and then I believe I reversed it. Yeah, I reversed it, so it's like this. And then I threw a big reverb and delay on it. There's also this sound that I was going to use earlier. This is a preset called Sequence Iron. So just by holding that note, it actually... well, I have to hold it on my keyboard. Which is really cool because that sequence you can play as like the bass line and get rid of this. which I think sounds really nice, but I'm not going to use it anymore. I might use something else though, so I'll keep it around. One thing about the pad as well, this pad is I wrote in these like stabs, but I took out this one here to give it a bit of groove, which I thought was kind of cool. That's more rolling like along, but this just felt groovier to me. And I want to play with the cutoff of this for sure. And the volume. And I'm already cutting it off at the beginning, so. I know it looks like I've arranged a little bit, but really it's just this loop. Everything over here is just empty. It's literally just a kick and like 1 or 2 loops, but there's nothing over here. I'll come right that after. And all this as well is just like nothing. I actually really like that. I'm stoked on that. So let's start from here. I'm gonna start to build the track left to right and start to add in some atmospheres and some effects and just kind of see how the writing feels. So like I don't think I should bring this in right away. Like that could be the intro. Let's start with the intro over here. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I would like to not have the clap at the beginning, so I'm going to see if I can scoop out a little bit. Like the clap right here. I want to see if I can get rid of that without it sounding weird. That is not the clap. This is. I think I'd know after 10 years. Fade this in. Whoops. Actually, I can just click this. Okay, that works. Oops. Oh, I missed one. Okay, so now I'm going to just duplicate this over a bunch of times until I get to maybe 30 seconds. And that's when I'll have the clap come in, and all this can just get brought all the way over here. Maybe at the minute mark, I guess that makes sense. Bring this back over. Yeah, that makes sense. Kick the sidechain over. Pad I want to bring in slowly, so maybe at like the 30-second mark I'll start to bring it up in volume, but it's nice that it's there just like really quiet. Very quiet. I don't know if I want. I'll probably keep this pad in at the beginning, but let's see how it sounds. I know I'm talking so much, but I love that atmosphere too. I want to use that later. So they come in a lot slower. That should come in there as well. Bring the filter down a little bit. Feel like the drums sound really nice, but the energy isn't there, and I don't want to get people to be caught off guard. What's this one? This is the. Give that back. So what I like to do is bring in like one of the elements of the bass a little earlier, but really filter it out. Where am I here? Yeah, like. Okay, let's see. Perfect. See, now people can get the momentum a little bit. That something's messed up there. Does that sound better? Closing my door properly. My wife is singing John Summit in the other room, and I don't want to pick it up on the microphone. Loving the way this is building. So I want to build this up right before it drops in to really build anticipation before it drops back in. So okay, let's build up to, say, 97. And this is usually the way that I write tracks. Like, I build a nice loop, and then I stretch it out and just see what the vibe takes me. I try not to rely too heavily on the writing of the track to kind of reinforce it. I want to make sure that the main loop is strong. It sounds badass. It sounds good. And then I'm not just, like, using, you know, effects and stuff to make it shiny. I want the track to feel really nice. I did not mean to color this one this color. I meant to color these ones that color, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Just so I can differentiate between those and when the loop comes in. I guess we need more hats. Probably bring this down a little bit, so like 275, maybe a little lower, so that you can start to hear the bass a bit better. Should be able to... I want to speed this up. But this kind of slows it down. If you listen, it kind of bump like this. It feels like there's a gap here, and it kind of slows it down. So I'm going to move it over. Yeah, actually, it sounded better before. This way doesn't have the gap. Or maybe even like this. That... There we go. It sounds a bit techy, like repetitive, so I might change it. This one should go here. This variation makes it a bit more interesting to me, so I'm gonna keep it that way. This will probably come in during the first breakdown. I think that'll come in there. We'll keep that high energy going. I don't know if I'll keep, this is probably gonna be too busy, but if I can make this like more gritty. FM here. Why does it sound so fast? Is it? It must be the synth itself. Maybe there's like a sequence somewhere. LFO 4. What is controlling that wavetable position? LFO 4. Okay, what if I take this down? I don't know why the MIDI is doing that. Dun 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 dun. Which one is off? Okay, I like that coming in there. Probably do like a little riser. Got the kick out, transition a little bit. Oh, 104, let's go up to like 200-ish. Oh, 200. Whoops. Love that sound. That detune back and forth too, so cool. Love that. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. See, I don't want it to be super obvious there. It's too loud now, so I'm gonna turn it back down. Okay, I feel like it needs to be a little bit groovier. It needs to hit harder. I think it's this pad here is. Maybe I need like another percussion or something to break up the monotony. So let's go back up to the drums. I want to like make something big, like a big snare or something that's gonna break up that like loop a little bit. So let's go into my packs. Basic Wavez. Look for something. snare. Oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah, something like that. So something aggressive. Where am I here? That's pretty cool. Maybe an overdrive on there. Make it a little bit stronger. Actually, I should loop it. Ooh, that'd be cool. Let's try that. I'm gonna try and find like a synth that's like a nice lead, big pluck. And I like using Serum. I personally don't use Diva. I personally don't really enjoy using the interface. I know that Bound to Divide loves using Diva, and it sounds really good. I prefer Serum, so that's why I'm not using any of the Diva presets that Bound to Divide and Basic Wavez puts out. But I know that some of them sound really good, so I'm probably gonna end up buying Diva anyways. Again, or not buying it again. I did have it. I just need to reinstall it. Where am I here? Basic Wavez. I want to get like a nice, warm, brassy lead. Ba-bow! Type sound. Dreams Volume 4. Bow. Ba-bow. Ooh, I like that too. Oh, that's cool. I don't know if it matches the song, but it could. It might work. I don't know. Too spacey. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to make an atmosphere with this. This is a really cool sound, and I like it, but it's just not really matching the vibe that I was thinking of. But I want to record something from here and make like an atmospheric sound from it. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so I'm going to go like this, make an audio track, sampling, and how am I doing for time? 45. Oh my gosh, time goes by so quick, man. All right, let's record just that lead. So where am I? This one, right? I want to record 24. Needs more release on it. Let's put that release up a lot. There we go. Boom. And re-record that. All right. I don't know if I like that one, but all right, we got these two sounds here. I'm gonna get rid of them. We have the atmospheres down here. I like this atmosphere as well. I kind of forgot that I grabbed that one, but it's just, yeah, this nice little sound in here. And it looks like it's from the Dreams pack as well. Let's just, yeah, let's search for this one. Yeah, Dreams Volume 4. Yeah, definitely gonna use some of these. Let's see what we got here. I am in G minor, so let's find a G. Oh man, I completely forgot about these bass lines. This would sound badass. If I just get rid of this and this and just put this in. Oh, that's fast. Make sure the BPM's right. So should go to here, I believe. No, let me find out what the BPM is. It's 111 here. That's not right. Why would you warp to such a stupid number? I'm gonna say it's 123, so I'm gonna push this up to 123. Almost. Maybe 125? Yeah. Yeah, so it's 125. So now I just have to warp this to 125. Yes. And bring this back down to my BPM, which was, I think, 122. I think. Yeah, let's use this bass line instead. Why didn't I do this in the first place? This is badass. All right, so I gotta throw the sidechain onto there, and I'm gonna use this bass line instead of the one that I made because I completely forgot that they actually the Dreams pack had these basses. All right, so. I'm gonna pull a little bit of the top end out. Find some like leads and pads here. I like that. Oh. Love that. Let's see if we can use that. See if it fits with the track. I know. Okay. And I'm going to assume this is the same BPM. So unwarp. And let's go to 125, I guess. I like that. That's cool. Kind of changes the vibe quite a bit. Maybe just honestly the first maybe I'll choose the first ones. I'm going to use this, but not in the way that you might think. So it's a really nice melody, but I'm going to use it as like a tension builder because I already have this pad, which I like. So I'm going to use this as like a way to rise the track up. Sidechain from the kick. Oh, but I already have this too. I don't know. I'll have to decide between the two because I really like this too. Pretty cool though. Looks like the samples are in 125, so you just have to warp them to that if you are going to use them, I guess. No, not that. Maybe they're not all in 125. I didn't like that. Oh, I mean, it was out of key too, but it just... Wow, I was like, wow, that sounds like Avicii, and then I realized you named it Berg. That's cool. Okay. So I'm going to use, because I can't change the notes of those plucks so much without recreating them, I'm going to change the bass line. That just does not fit here anymore. When it's in key, it does. So if I just start here. Like that. Where is that coming from? That sounds really nice too. Is it this one? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I forgot that I added this too. There's a couple things I was experimenting with. But yeah, this sounds really nice too. So it's just this lead sitar with some reverb on it. And it sounds actually really nice. And I know, I think it's opening up slowly here. Sorry, I guess I should, I didn't know that it was doing this, but I would have showed you earlier. So yeah, this is building, and it's adding more tension and more melodic structure to the track, so. I'm digging this track. It's not what I'm usually used to writing, but it's coming out nice. Forgot about these shakers, so I'll bring these over. I would love to get a vocal over this. Maybe that's what I'll do in the future, because this sounds like it could really have a vocal. That bass change, though, that bass changes everything. I bet you he has a lead in here and one of these. That would just be perfect for this. 1 sec. I bet he has like a nice strong lead that I could throw in here and follow that pattern. Do. Increase the look. What is he doing here? Look at this. This is craziness. That is crazy sound design. I love that. Do. Oops. It's hard to see without my microphone in the way. Up to the A sharp B flat. Oh. What am I going up to here? Because the B flat sounds bad. I'm in G and I pushed this up like a fifth, I think. Oh, okay. Okay, a fourth. So flip to the C. Does this have... Yep, that's why it sounds bad. There's already a fifth on here, so I was wondering why it was sounding a little bit out of key. What's it? It's a... Yeah, so let's try that one more time. I like that. Something like that. I'm gonna record that. I want to make it like not so plucky, but more of like a strong same pad. Pull the pitch down too much there. I thought the bass changed. Oh, I wasn't even recording that, was I? Oh my goodness. Where am I here? Oh, I was. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So I just took a quick break to let my ears reset a little bit and come back with some fresh ideas and fresh perspective on the track. Listening to it again, I feel like I actually want to get, focus more on the vibe of the track being a bit more like progressive, like deep and rolling, and less kind of like driving and happy like it is. So I'm going to forget about that lead element right now and just kind of come back over to the bass and see if I can make the bass work a little bit harder. All right, like focus on that groove some more. I've also turned off this atmosphere here. I'll keep that back on for now. I'm gonna turn it off. It makes it a little bit too like happy for right now. But yeah, I just all I did was just take off this lead in the meantime. That's all. I think it was this one. So I think I'm gonna, I have to stop that impact from playing every single time. Okay, let's go from here. I like the idea of this one. I think it's actually too much now. Maybe I'll just save that for build-ups. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna cut it out here and put it like here, and then get rid of this here. That sounds all right. Maybe this needs to come up a little bit in pitch. Maybe it needs to feel a bit more tense. Maybe even up one more octave. It might increase the tension a little bit and feel a little bit less calm. Gonna put a reverb on it. Whoops. Make it really airy. A little bit less volume. It's a bit more techy, more like gritty. I gotta change the bass as well. I love that bass changing, but I think maybe it needs to be later in the track or something. So I'm just gonna push all of this over, and we're just gonna go for a little bit of a different vibe here. But again, I don't want to spend too much time doing it because I want to make sure I get the mix done. So we'll see how it goes. If not, we'll just carry on. I want to change this here so it's not playing that different pitch. I'm just going to go cut this and go like this and then fade into it itself. All right, so that sounds cool. What about if we turn this on? Let me try pulling this up. I want to get rid of it here. And just slowly start to pull this up with some automation on the volume. What I could do now is actually build this into a little bit of a break. And maybe a cooldown. Could try that. Like start to take out these elements here. I'm gonna try it out. It might be too rushed though. One, two, three, four, like this. What if I lower the amount that this happens? That works. I'm gonna find one more sound here, I think. And then go into the breakdown here. Yeah, I think that works. I want to take out some elements here. Definitely don't need everything. I like that, that's cool. Wow, I really want to add like a big horn sound. I think that would sound really cool, and it's like the third time I've thought of it, so I'm just gonna send it. I know I was testing around with this before the break, so let me see what I can come up with here. I don't know what note I want to go to. Microphone's kind of in the way here. too ominous. What do I go to here? I go to... let's C. Then I probably go to the A, B flat. The E flat, or the D sharp. Okay, so if I go that to that. G, C, D sharp. Pretty big, and I don't know, maybe it won't hold that long. Bump, maybe just go bum 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 bum. Banana. I don't know what to do for this breakdown. I love this. I can build up. That'd be something big here, I guess. I just feel like it's too boring. That'd be too long of a breakdown anyways. Now we're getting into like over a minute now already. That's kind of cool. Bring that back up. Bring the drop in back here. Oh, sorry. Whoops. Make sure my computer is plugged in here. There we go. All right, that's sounding better. Maybe make a build up. is there? Snare build somewhere, or we just use our own here. Upfilled. Snare rolls. Oh yeah. This one's in G anyway, so let's just try that. This is in my bass, so I don't need that, but let's grab it here. Let's throw in an audio track. That's 122 beats per minute, so unwarp this, go down to 122, click warp again, and go back up to 123. I'm gonna keep 122 for now. I'll try pushing. Maybe try a different one. Try this one. I'm gonna pitch it up a little bit. So I'm gonna go from the F to up 2 semitones. Now we're at a G. Unwarp it. Warp it again. Wait, what's going on here? This is. I actually like that one better. This one. Or we save it back up. We'll go 1, 2. We'll do this on the here, on this little break spot. Right, let's go from here. Grab some impacts, some sweeps. Ooh, I like that one. That one's cool. We'll go from here. Another one here. I'm gonna push this back here. I'm gonna go into the clip in here. Where am I here? Notes, expressions, envelopes, modulation wheel. I'm gonna move this over. Try and get some more spice out of this. Well, maybe make it smooth. Like that. And then shorten that because it doesn't need to be so long. I think that'd be cool to put as part of the drop as well. So I'm gonna, not the drop, the build. And really cut that down. Envelopes. Like this. Whoops. Like this, and maybe some cutoff. this. I feel like it's way too high already. Oh, that's that one playing. Wonder why it sounds like that. Okay, I can move this over here. Double it up. All right, we're making progress. What's this here? This is the Pluck. So we can open that up. I mean, that actually works, just going right to the kick. I don't know if it's a little bit too cheesy, a little bit too fromage, you know, but let's try it out. Just, it's done so much, right? Like, but it works, so. Maybe with the percussion. No, I don't like it. Let's try it with the drums. Like, I do like it, but I want to try it with the drums first, see how it sounds. I think it's actually, let me move this over. I think it's actually to do with the, I don't know, the combination of everything. Like if I move these down. I think the melody is actually kind of ruining it a little bit. This is hard because I'm kind of fighting between two different styles here. Let's see what happens if I put this in the build again. Oh, the pads too is missing too. Felt empty. I didn't know why, but now I know why. Keep that low there, and then we'll bring it back up. Maybe even open it more for the drop. I think this, where is it? That like, wow. I don't know. It's throwing me off. I thought that'd be really good to have in the final drop here because it kind of feels like it would be, energetic and it would kind of suit that. But it's kind of annoying me. I'm not sure exactly. This also, I think, is kind of interfering with the energy a little bit. So basically, when writing tracks like this, it can go one of two ways. If I want it to be more melodic, I'm going to have the pads, the atmospheres, and the lead. But when I want to focus just more on that driving groove, like more like a Mango Alley type track, then you kind of want to take away those melodic elements and just really drive home that groove in the drop. Otherwise, the energy feels a little bit lower. So I'm going to test out both really quickly and see which one I prefer. Let's see, there's got to be a little bit of a drop off here, otherwise it feels a little bit too like you're losing too much when it drops like that. So I'm going to take a little bit off at the end here. Yeah, see, it's changing the vibe quite a bit. What if I bring it in? I think it actually works with the lead, so I'm going to keep that in. Try bringing the pad back in. Yeah, let's go. And I want to bring in this, but I think I'm gonna wait a little bit. Oh, you know what might sound good though if I just drop it in like this. No, you know what? Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I feel like it's not working here. I want that strong groove to hit hard, and then we'll go over to this spicy part. So let's move that over there. Let's get rid of this and just duplicate this over twice, and let's see how this sounds. Okay. I'm gonna slowly bring this back up. Also, for this last drop, I want to add in some extra energy. So I'm going to go in and add a ride loop, which I probably can find pretty simply in here. Let's see, I got... Don't know if he has any ride loops. Oh, I like that. I wonder if I could use that as part of the build-up. I know we already got a lot going on, but E, F sharp, G. And I'm going to see if I can use that in the build-up. It sounds pretty tight. Or even... No, it doesn't work in the track like that, but maybe in the build-up. Let's see if I can find a ride. Here we go. I'm gonna go with this one here. And what I like to do is do it on every 8th note. So we're gonna go 8ths. Instead of audio, I'm gonna do a MIDI. And we're going to delete this and do this. Just so I can draw them in properly and just go like a diss. Sorry, quarter notes, not 8th notes. I'm gonna go quarter notes. And you put a big old sidechain on here and it sounds great. Yeah. Can even put this in as part of the build-up, but I like to do it really quietly, so I don't really hear it come in until the drop. Put this free plugin on it. Okay, I need something here to make it more interesting. Let's do one of these. Let's grab this whole section here, actually. All right. I'm not using this. That's my old bass line. Now I'm using Bound to Divide's bass line. So I will leave that. Don't think I'm using this. So I'm gonna gray these out so I know that I'm not using them. And then move them down to the bottom. I'll leave them in the project file. Okay, now let's grab another sound. I want to try and find something that's like a WOM sound. So let's see if I can find one in Bound to Divide packs. Maybe one of the bass sounds. Go to some of the sustained sounds here. Maybe a little too low. Well, that might work. That also might work. Oh, that's even better. Peach. I'll go back to one of these here. That's so cool. I'm gonna take the cell off because I don't need it. I don't really need this lower one as much either. Maybe I'll push it up. Yeah, there we go. And I definitely don't need this low end, so I'm going to cut that out. And I like to use 2 filters to soften it up. I'm going to increase the release by quite a bit. And I'm going to throw that in over here. So... maybe a little bit shorter. Okay, so I think this comes in a little bit too late, so... little break here. I don't know if that works anymore. And then mix out here would start at 545. It wouldn't even be that long of a track, to be honest. Quite the challenge, to be honest, for me at least, to write a track in this amount of time. I'm very critical, very self-critical. So if it's not like really good, then I'm like, oh, it's not there, it's not good enough, you know? So you get a bit jaded, 1, 2, 3, 4, with what you're trying to write, because you're like, oh, it's not good enough, and then, you know, you might get a little bit like confused on how to feel about it. And with this time limit, knowing that I'm going to kind of have to finish this challenge, I get inside my head a little bit. Is it good enough? Is, you know, the idea is good enough? Should I just redo it? All these things. But sometimes you just have to, you know, just trust in what you're doing and know that you can always come back to it later and fix it and change it. And there's tracks that I come back to months and months and months later. I listen to it and I'm like, oh, you know what? This was crap. Or I come back months and months later and I say, whoa, this track's sick. Why did I think it sounded bad? So hopefully it's that one. All right, let's see. So we got, I think it's a little bit short because I don't have a breakdown here, so. Oh, the bass should come in here. I think maybe I'll keep this off for now. Yeah, that sounds tight. What I can do is I can duplicate this now. I can bring this in. If I want, I can make a little break here. I kind of like that tension it builds. It needs a bit of work, but I have some time here, so. Why don't I try and grab a different one of these? A little bit softer of one. Oh, that's too short. Let's go into... Oh, I am in 1 and 22. Okay, so I can just go like this. Let me try this again. I think it's off time. Strange. Try that. That's why the warp was off. I'll turn this one down so it's much quieter, but it'll still increase that tension quite a bit, so. Pull this down a little bit so it builds up again, build up even higher. And I want something here, transitional, maybe something like this. Or if I should just take the bass out, that might sound cool. Or at least the first half. One, two, three, four. Needs to be something else here, a riser or some sort of atmosphere, like a... Those are cool, but not what I'm looking for. Tension builders, this might be perfect. Let's see. Oh. That sounds very obscure reference, but does anybody know Slipknot? That sounds exactly like the first note in the track Vermilion. Do, 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 do. Creepy. But I'm going to use that as my effect. So I'm going to go down here, into the effects. What's on here? Nothing. Good. I'll throw that in there. Where's my little build-up? Right here. Okay. So we're going to go locator here. Going to change this to a G. Put a big reverb on it and a big delay. Oh, it already has one. And I'm going to put that decay. Oh, it doesn't have a delay. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to bounce this down to audio. So I'm going to duplicate this and make something cool with it. So I'm going to push this feedback up quite a bit and then just freeze and flatten this. I'm going to put 100% dry. Ooh, a little high dry. Or freeze and flatten this. It's going to make like a little audio snippet of this. Oh, shoulders are getting a little bit sore. Flatten that. We're going to have this nice tonal thing here. And same thing. I'll throw another reverb on it just to wash it out a little bit more. Long decay. I might have actually washed this out too much. So the idea here is I'm really pulling attention to that bass line that I'm introducing, and it's catchy, it's hooky. I'm going to push it up in volume a little bit, and I'm really going to let that groove hit hard. Maybe even pull the pad out a little bit as it's building, and then kind of build it back up, because I want to focus really hard on that pad, that groove. Increase the decay on this. Ideally, I would want this even louder actually, but we'll see. Like I should probably have this. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to push that decay up even higher. All the way up, and then record this. I'm still going to use this one shot underneath to give a bit of atmosphere and blend in, but okay, and now that's going to be a little bit long. That's okay. Low. There we go. Flatten. Save. And then I'm going to reverse my thing, then flip it and reverse it. Okay, let's go here. And let's try that. I don't like that. It's too much though, but that sounds nice. And one more, and then I'm gonna fade it out a little bit like this. Whoops, that's too many. This doesn't even need to be here anymore. We can push these over. All right, so now I've effectively extended the song by about, what, 30 seconds from bar 135 to bar, bar 49 to 65 seconds, about 135 to about 205. So I've extended the song about 30 seconds. I've introduced this bass line. Now it sounds really cool. Maybe I should introduce it a little bit slower so it doesn't get boring. So I'll open up the serum, go to cutoff, and configure cutoff. I want to bring it in slow enough that it makes this part feel a little bit more interesting without making it feel boring. That's pretty cool. Not the most amazing groove, but it sounds pretty good. Some automation. Grab one of this again. Last thing I think I could add here maybe is some strings, and then I'm going to go into the mixdown, and I'm going to do a rough mix, and then I'm going to do a strong second mix. And if that gives me enough time, I'll go in one more time and fine tune the track a little bit. But right now, I just want to see if I can add some strings. What's this? What is this? What are? Oh yeah, this is a nice little atmosphere, right? Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I want that. I want more of that. I don't like how everything's brown in here though. Let's make it a different color. Let's go with like a nice red. Yeah, it's so nice. Better. Yeah, okay. So some strings. So in my pad group, I'll throw in I wonder if there's any good pads in here. Vocal effects and phrases. You know what? Actually, it would be nice to have like a nice vocal. Perfect. Like a nice atmosphere. That's cool. I'm gonna throw this in here. Actually, I'm gonna put in, oh, this MIDI's empty. I'm gonna throw in some vocal snippets here and see how they sound. Let's go down to G. Turn it up a little bit. A little bit solemn. Let's try the C. I like it. And C is in G minor, so it works. It's actually fourth higher. That works. What about some vocal phrases? That doesn't work. Let's see about strings. So, nothing there. Nothing there. Oh, that's cool. Try a melody loop. I wonder if that would sound better than the one we have right now. Let me just put a cheeky little swapperoonie. No, it sounds cool, but with the bass change and everything, it doesn't work. I'm gonna put a little bit more release on this one, and a little bit less cutoff, and less volume. Coolio. All right, let's go and see if Basic Wavez has the kind of string that I'm looking for. So, okay, let's go. Plucked, resequence. Oh yeah, these are basses. That's not what I'm looking for. Basic Wavez, Dreams. If I could only stay on this. Basic Wavez, Dreams. We have pads. Perfect. Pads. Is there any letter to string? No, pads. Okay, so we can turn pads into strings. Cool. All right. Nice. That's cool. Very dead mousey. I like that. That's cool. All right. I'm giving myself just a few more minutes here before I get into the mix. These are really nice. Let's try it out in the track. So let's go breakdown. Let's play the 5th. So it goes G, C, B flat, I think? No, G, C, E flat. No. What was it? Bass? I think this one plays it, right? G, C, D sharp, E flat. Yeah, it was right. Okay. Let's go. So G, C, E flat. I don't love that anymore. This breakdown needs a little bit of work, but I honestly don't think I have time. If I put maybe a little bit of attack on it, it won't sound so cheesy. Can't see with this microphone in the way. Can't see it. All right. I have the G and the D. Sounds good. And the C and the A. I don't know what chord would sound good after that. It's too high. Yeah, that works. 2 flats. Okay. So. Cool. Like that a lot. And then I can open up the cutoff a little bit as it's building. And then I think I'm unfortunately out of time for writing. So I am going to do my best with what I got here. I'm gonna put a single note here just to build tension. Oh. Oh my goodness, I cannot get this right. Fold. Get rid of all this. Duplicate. Oh, something's wrong here. I'm going to put this in here as well and cut out the low end of it because it can help kind of build up. Like when you drop right from a breakdown to a pretty big a full sounding bass line like, or drop like this, it can sound a little bit like off-putting that there's so many elements. If you kind of bring it in like this, kind of introduce it, and then right at the end, kind of pull it back out, it won't feel so like jarring when the elements kind of come in. I could do the same thing with some of the drums. Even this bass line. Bass line on, yeah, okay. So then same thing, I just want to cut out the low end of the bass until it drops in. Put that vocal over that. Yeah, like that. Little breakdown here, right? Fix the bass is just going like this. One, two, probably go another. I don't know, I'd have to probably put the breakdown here, otherwise it's gonna get a little bit long. repetitive. There's not really many more elements I have here. Maybe I would push this over a little bit like this. Make this like this. Start to bring elements down for the mix out. Like the pad. And the strings. Oh, I completely forgot about the lead. Oh my goodness. Okay, yes, we have that in here as well. Maybe we can do it one more time. Then pull the lead down, and we are basically done. Where'd that lead go? Lead, Mr. Lead. All right, and we're done. We're ready for the mix down. So I'm gonna take a break, and then probably tomorrow I'm gonna come back with completely fresh ears and do the mix down. So I'll be back. Okay, so now it's the next day. I'm going to be doing the mix down. You want to do a mix down when you have fresh ears, as fresh as possible. So I haven't really been listening to music today. I did a little bit of work in the morning, but now I'm going to be doing the mix down, and I do the mix down a little bit different than most people might do. So I'm gonna try and keep it as quick as I can while still maintaining as much professionalism as possible. But basically, when doing a mix down, you want to bring all of your elements down and then bring them back up, starting with the most important elements first. And I like to actually push up my master by 6 decibels. And I like to put another like 5 or 6 decibels on a utility. Turn off the limiter, turn off, we can keep the span over here. Just something I like to do so that my speakers don't have to be super loud and I don't forget and then turn something else on and blow my eardrums or my speakers. So, and also if I'm starting to max out my headroom and starting to clip, then I know that I still have 6 plus 6 decibels. So 12 decibels of headroom still available. And when the mix is done, I can pull those down. Usually I start to max out the mix and then I start to pull them down, but it's just the way that I do things. I also like to mix in mono at first. So I will make sure that the entire mix is in mono, and I will load up some reference tracks. So what I will do is I will use this awesome tool called Adapter Metric AB, or BTTR. I'm gonna have to not use these tracks for copyright reasons if I don't know how to get rid of them, but I will grab and throw in some of my own tracks. So let me do that now. Let's go here. All right. So I'm going to choose one of my older tracks. I have an idea of a track to choose, actually. So I have this one called Serendipity, which is sort of a similar vibe. I have this Mindful Harmony, Serendipity. And let's go. This one here. I'm going to just get rid of this one. I don't know how to delete it. There we go. Just put it over there. Okay, so 2 reference tracks here. These both are my remixes of tracks that I've done. And they are Serendipity and Colorado. And we should be fine referencing those. Okay, let's see. Let's get rid of this. And I like to start first with the kick drums and the bass. So I'm going to take down all the elements of my track. So I'm going to bring everything down. Go into the mixing mode here. All the groups, all the instruments in the group, I'm going to bring down. First, I'm going to save this as the mix, actually. So it's going to be mixed down. And just in case I mess something up. And then I'm going to bring everything down. I don't bring everything down right to the bottom. I go like just a little bit above. Another kind of weird thing that I do. And then bring this all the way down almost to the bottom. I'm not even using these. So I'm just going to keep them right down to the bottom. And then pads, everything over. I have a group there, so I'll bring these all the way down. And these all the way down. Looks like some different sounds here. Bring them down. I'm not using these either. Bring them right down. Don't even need to look at them. My effects. What are these here? These are all effects. And bring those all down. I think that's the reference track playing. Yeah. Okay, so now everything's turned down. Okay, so I'm going to choose a pretty bulky part of the track, and I'm going to start with the kick drum. And usually I bring my kick drum up to about -16 on here. So I'm going to pull this over. Also, I bring all of my groups down. So let's see, the effects I'll bring down by, okay, it's already down a little bit. Synths already down a little bit. I like to have at least 5 or 6 dB on these in case I need to turn them up. So my bass, I'll bring up to like -6, and the drums about -6. That's fine like that. Close all these, turn them all off, and now I'm just gonna focus on the kick. For the kick drum, I'm trying to get my RMS up to about 4 or 5 from the peak, and the peak I'm bringing up to about -18 to -16. So right about there is good, and the dark green is the peak, the light green is the RMS. I can see that it's actually a pretty solid kick because my peak is hitting at about -17.6, and my RMS looks like it's hitting -19 maybe, so it's pretty close. I can actually check with the span here. Yeah, so we're hitting at about -19, -20, which is pretty close. Pretty happy with that, so I'm going to leave that. If it looked bad, it might look something more like this. I go into the kick and say I cut out like a lot of the low end. Now my RMS is hitting all the way down here, and you can just hear that the kick isn't as punchy. You want the RMS to be as close to that peak basically as possible. Up next, I'll do my bass. So I'm going to swap these over. And I'm going to focus on the sub first, I think. Just turn off. This is the sub, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I'm just going to need... Oh, that's already fine. Okay. Okay, so there's actually a little bit of sub lacking. The low note's fine because we're even that. So I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to pitch this down. And if I had more time, I would do this a little bit more efficiently. I would actually draw out the MIDI and make sure everything is perfect. But I don't have the luxury of time now. So I'm just going to take the sub from this and EQ it out. And I wouldn't suggest doing this because there is better ways to do it. But I just want to grab just the sub frequency, basically. I'm going to rename this to sub. This one I can rename to bass. Whoops. This microphone in my way. I have the bass. Oh shoot, what happened here? What did I do? I think I accidentally lowered this octave too. Yes, I did. There we go. So bass, sub, and match that with the kick. I'm aiming for maybe between 6 and 10 dB quieter than the bass, than the kick. And we're looking here. I'm listening more than I'm looking. The sub actually doesn't need to be as loud because I already have a pretty strong sub in the kick. That might even be too loud. Now the bass. What's the side chain on that? Pretty heavy. I like to come back to my bass after to make sure it sounds fine. There's a bass top. Accent. Right up here. Okay, so this is pretty loud. Keep going on. I might take this one out. Probably just taking up space, to be honest. I don't like how snappy this is. I'm going to try and compress it. Very peaky. I'm going to put 0 attack and just try to grab that snap. Yeah, better. Okay, let's move on to the drums. And actually, before I move on to the drums, I want to compare this to a reference track. So now I'm going to go into my Uline, my adapter. I'm going to choose my track, and this is important. I want to make sure that I am gain matching. So I want to grab just the low end and gain match it. So I'm going to probably bring it down pretty low. And let's just try it. Let's see what happens. I gain match it. Okay, so that's probably all right. So I'm going to choose here. Let's turn on the loop. And I'm going to filter at the top end. So filter on. Just going to focus on the lows. It's a really sub-heavy song. I say that the reference is actually quite a bit louder. There we go, that's better. Yeah, there we go, that's better. My levels actually sound pretty close. So that actually sounds pretty nice to me. So now I'm going to move on to the drums. And what I actually do is I want to save my ears from being totally destroyed while doing this mix. So I'm going to put on, do I have it on this one? I think I do, a mixing rack. I'm going to throw this mixing rack on here. So this mixing rack saves me a lot of time. Let me get rid of this. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that or that. That in there, and boom, shakalaka. By 6. Okay, so now I have this ear save and I have this high pass. Now I'm going to pass over the highs, so the lows. I'm going to pass over the lows, and I'm going to focus back on my track, and I'm going to just ignore the low end because it's just going to make my ears tired, and I'm going to come back to it. But I'm going to measure, start to mix the hi-hat. The filters off. So, and I'm actually going to turn the bass off too. I'm going to mix my drums to the kick. And this isn't always advised, and maybe you want to be more experienced before you try this. This is why it's so good to mix in mono too, because it really lets you hear how solid everything is. And if it doesn't sound solid, then you have to fix your mix. Oh yeah, I don't even know if I'm using this. Yeah, this is something I brought in later, but I'm not going to use it. Rides. Okay, and now what I can do is I can take out the low end again, or put in the low end, and if it sounds off, I just turn the drum group up. To me, it sounds like the drums could be a little bit louder, especially the hi-hat. So I'm going to push the hi-hat up by 1 each, 2 on that, actually 2 each. This one up a little bit. And the whole group I'll push up by like 1 dB. And now I'm already clipping here, so that's when I go in and say, okay, now it's time to take this down a little bit. Still clipping a little bit, so let's take this right down. Turn my speakers up. I still have 6 dB of headroom, but now if I start to see that red, then I know that I have to go in and fix my mix a little bit because maybe it's too hot. The bass on. Okay, maybe they're a little bit too loud, so I'll go down like another half dB. All right. Synths. Same thing with the synths. I try to just ignore the low end. Oops. The ride is a smidgen too loud. I think this should be part of the bass. I'm going to put it up in the bass area. I have the bass turned off, isn't it? Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of a track spacer here. You could also use sidechain compression for this, but I want to just make it so when this pluck hits, it's actually cutting through the mix a little bit. But squishing down the lead sound to have like that repeating arp to have that cut through. It's carving room in the mix for that lead to come through. Wait, this is too low. Cut out some of that grittiness, the vocal, or effect. And the vocals somewhere. On the effects. Louder. Yeah, a couple things too loud. Just pulling on those sharp, like really strong frequencies in the string pad. Like the fundamental frequency, you can pull down a little bit to give it some more room in the track. Vocal. The drums need to come down another dB. Or a little bit of low end back in. I don't even hear this. Fill up with the drums. Okay. Some more effects. The riser here. All right. Now, my favorite part is to listen in stereo and with the kick and everything in and see how it sounds. One sec. Oh. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the battery doesn't die. And let's see how it sounds. I'll make adjustments as I go as well. All right, so now I'm going to listen with the adapter, and we're going to listen to just the high end now of the reference tracks. And the important thing is that I don't now gain match again, because I want the low end, the kick and bass to be the right volume because they're the loudest parts of the track, and the drums should reflect that. So the drums should match the same energy as the finished track. I'm going to put this in mono. Easier to tell. Seems like my drums could be a smidgen louder or more powerful, but I still need to compress and stuff, so I'll leave it for now. But it does sound pretty good. I'll turn the filters off, and I'm going to do a little bit more balancing. To me, the low end actually feels a bit quiet. I'm going to turn down the drums by 2 dB, the synths by 2, and push the low end. I'll leave the low end as is. And usually I want to look at my span as well. I want my span, actually it doesn't really matter right now. It needs to be mastered first, or limited at least. The shaker's a little bit louder, or a little bit. Yeah, my low end still feels a bit quiet to me, so I'm going to turn up the kick 1 dB. Turn up the low end of the sub by 2, this one by 1, and I'll leave the drums as is. I actually really like this groove. I like the vibe of it quite a bit. I want to do some processing on here. So I'm going to go grab a multi-band dynamics. I actually have this tool called Infinity Bass, which I'm going to show you. Oh, I don't have it on this computer, unfortunately, but it's a really nice tool that like really amplifies. It gives presence to the bass, basically. But I'm going to use a sidechain compressor and a multi-band compressor and squish the lows. And let me check the EQ to make sure there's no stereo image. There is. I thought so. I'm just going to pull the stereo image out a little bit of the low bass. Like so. And just compress that low end. It's on the whole thing, right? Yeah. Compress the mids. Very subtle, but it's just kind of switch them together a bit better. I'm gonna throw a glue compressor on here and the Freeclip. So the Freeclip is it's a clipper. It cuts off the tops of the signals and like the loudest parts of the signals, and it gives you more headroom and just kind of cleans up the sound a little bit. Usually the hi-hats are the ones you have to worry about the most because they're so transient. So we're gonna look at what I'm taking off here. So 7.2. You can see that it's red there. But the bonus is that it doesn't really sound like I'm doing anything yet. If I turn this off and on, it shouldn't really, hopefully won't hear a difference. And it's giving us, now we're at 13.6 dB full scale headroom. If I turn it off, it jumps up to 7. So I'm getting that extra 6 decibels of peak volume, and that's going to help with things like compression and limiting. So if I go to my glue compressor now, my glue compressor, I throw that on, it should help as well. So if I just compress lightly, put this up to 10, this probably won't make a difference right now because the attack is so high, but if I go down to here, Look how much it's jumping up. I put this on and we're getting less by like 2.5 dB. So that's just to show you how the clipper kind of works. It just basically takes out the peaks. Gives a little bit of presence to the drums. Maybe it took off a bit too much. You guys try parallel compression. You could bring this to like 0%, squish the crap out of it. Like, that's parallel compression, just adding in a tiny bit of like a really overcompressed signal. I don't really think it's doing too much though, so I'll just take it off. You know what? I'll leave it on. Just leave it on like 2%. Why not? The lead is a bit quiet. This is also quiet. Let's turn these up. I'm going to duplicate this inside here. I'm going to grab a tantra, which is a really nice tool, to add some movement to this. So this is a really cool tool. Turn down the resonance. So that's a really nice tool, and I'm gonna group this now, and I'm gonna duplicate this, and then take the tantra off one of them. And now I have like a dry signal and a wet signal. So this is the dry. This is the wet. I'm gonna EQ out some of the low end of the wet. And put a sidechain compressor on from itself. So basically I'll choose the input will be the same channel. So we're on 29. Same channel, and I'm gonna go pre-effects. I'm gonna choose the chain. So audio effect rack chain, which I can change to dry. And now it'll say pre-effects. Oh, what happened? There we go. Pre-effects, and I can see it says dry. So let's do post effects. So now this is going to side chain with the dry signals. When the dry signal is playing, it's going to squish down. It's going to make room for this to come through. We are clipping a little bit, so I'm going to turn this down. And I'm going to throw, it's already pretty wide. I don't need a wider on there, but that's, yeah, just adds a little bit of ear candy. My hi-hats, I'll make one a little bit left, a little bit right. Yeah, this one will go a little bit right, a little bit left. This one's already got some width. There's this one. Nice clap in the center. It's got some width to it as well. Oops. This one, I'll put this one. There we go. Panning, just yeah. And that sounds actually pretty good to me. And we're just running out of time here, so this is perfect. Some other things I would do is just to check span against a reference track. So I'm going to, sorry, not span. I can use adapter. So if you have a span, you can do this as well. But in adapter, they show you different things. So there's a spectrum, and you can choose layered, and it's going to show me both tracks. But my tracks are already mastered, so I'm going to bring up the reference tracks. So I'm going to go back to playback, bring the volume to 0 on both, and check my mix against that with my limiter on. So I'll go into here, bring this down to 6 again, from 6 to 0. Check my headroom. We're good on headroom. And I'm going to check the adapter on all the different settings. I'm going to bring my limiter up, so I'm getting about -5 dB of gain reduction. It's gonna get louder, so turn your headphones down. By the way, Ableton's limiter is not as good as other limiters, so get a good limiter. Usually I should be hitting at about -8 to 9. My true peak is hitting a little bit loud right here, so I want to fix that with an actual good limiter. Otherwise, I can get a little bit of distortion, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to go into adapter, and I'm going to check to see how it's comparing against my already professionally mastered tracks, completely mastered. Not to say that I'm not a professional, but you should always get your tracks mastered by somebody else, and they're completely mastered. So if my track looks similar and sounds similar to the reference tracks, then I know I did a good job. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to turn down the master a little bit. We don't need it so loud, just a reference. I can see that. There we go. That's a little bit easier because they're a little bit closer in key. So the orange is the reference track, and it looks like the low end is pretty similar. The mids are pretty similar, and the highs actually look pretty similar. It looks like my track might have a little bit more high end. Let's try the other track. Let's make sure we're grabbing a part of the track that actually has bass. So it looks like, yeah, the low end is a little bit louder, but high end, the high end in this reference track, tiny bit louder. High end in this track, tiny bit quieter, I think. So I'm going to split the difference and say that we're pretty okay. And again, I would be spending more time really fine tuning this if I had the time, but I think that sounds pretty good. Going to the correlation, this is the phase correlation. As long as we're doing good here, as long as you're in the positives here, it's good. They look pretty similar. Stereo image. You don't want any stereo image down here, like you want it to be mono down here, which I already did. Dynamics, this is when you want to have them both, like, I don't feel like I'm explaining everything, which is maybe not what I should be doing, but I think it kind of keeps me in check here. So the reference is a little bit more dynamic than my track. So this just means that, you know, it sounds a little bit more squished than the reference track does, but it sounds louder than the reference track does. So I'm going to keep it maybe a little bit less limiter, but I could also fix that in the mix. And then the loudness. So I'm going to change this. This comes sometimes as -14, whatever it is. So it'll be red, but I'm going to change that because I want my lefts to be at like 8. And it looks like my track feels louder than the reference. I'm going to turn it up again on the master. to me, the low end does not feel nearly as warm. I think that my bass is a little bit, my bass is a little bit uneven. I think this is too loud. And this one's too quiet. And I think my kick is not as... actually, it's a pretty powerful kick. That already sounds better. I think my bass was just a little bit too loud. A little less busy part of the track. All right, we're coming up about 45 minutes. My ears are probably a little tired at this point. So what I would do now is I would take, there's two things I'm going to do. One, I'm going to go listen in the back of my room to see how the bass translates, because bass travels, I'm not going to get into it, but basically it travels and gets caught in parts of your room. And for me, my room, it's all the way back here. So that's where I hear the bass the loudest. And so I can reference it a little bit better back there. And the second thing is I'm going to take a break, at least 20, 30 minutes maximum, or minimum you want to do is 20, 30 minutes, but you could even take a day or two and come back and just check one more time. So that's what I would do if I was mixing this, if I had more time, but I think it sounds pretty good. I'm using my references a lot. I'm checking span, comparing it to reference tracks. A good reference is that your kick should be around 32 to 34 here, and then your bass should kind of follow a couple dB below each octave, and then your high end should be a few decibels, maybe 4 to 6 decibels lower than your kick and sub. So that actually looks pretty good. The mids are pretty heavy in this track. So to me, it actually looks like my low end is a little bit too quiet compared to the highs. So I would actually push up my kick another dB or two and compensate for that. 1, 2, and if we look back on the master, on the meters here, the kick's probably hitting at like -16. Okay, so -15. So that's why I start at -18, -17, so that if I do need to turn it up, we're only hitting -15 here, and it's not going to start to get too loud in the headroom. And I can double check with my limiter off. I'm only hitting -11, and that's also why I give myself that extra room on the utility and the master channel there. I still think it needs to come up though. I haven't really gotten into EQing of the individual sounds too much because I kind of do that as I go, but I would go through with the fine-tooth comb as well and do some extra compression, EQ. Again, with my ears fresh, I would be doing very little things, maybe some saturators like my hi-hats. I'd use some saturation on them. That doesn't sound like it's doing much, but that's the idea. I would go through and just test different things, saturators, compressors, and some EQ. And I didn't even add reverb onto my drums yet. So that's something else I can do with the return track. We have the reverb here, a little bit of pre-delay to make room, some high cut, turn that off. I like about 30 milliseconds. And then I can start to send the different drums. A little bit too long. Some of these already have reverb on them a little bit, so I don't need to add too much more. Is the snare roll? Put that way up. Oh, that's not the snare roll. Okay. Yeah, that's basically it. My kick actually sounds maybe a smidgen too loud now. But yeah, I'm filling up the mids. I'm paying attention to the mids, paying attention to the highs and the lows all separately. And then one more time, I would probably go in and do this filtering. So filter the lows. That sounds pretty good actually then. Different areas. Sub. My bass could be a little louder actually. So I'll turn my bass up a little bit more. And the track itself is actually pretty loud. It's at like 9 LUFS and I haven't even fully mastered it yet. So that's a good sign, but also you don't want your mix to be too loud and too aggressive. Otherwise it becomes a little bit less, like sometimes it's almost too loud, and it would be better if you do it in the mastering, but I don't think it's really a big issue to be at like 8 or 9, but if you're at like 5 or 6 by the time you're mastering, you're probably already squishing everything too much. Making sure I didn't forget anything here. I would fine tune the side chaining, and yeah, I think that's it. Some side chain on the kick, just a little bit. I actually really like this song, so I think I'm gonna actually continue with this and finish this track, make it even more complete in the writing, maybe add some more elements or another idea, but I think I might change the bass line as well, make it more hypnotic so it's not changing the bass notes here. The ride's too loud. A little bit bulky as well in some of the areas, so I can go through with an EQ and individual sounds that are overlapping and masking each other. I would try to reduce. Like this. This is pretty loud and it's pretty full. Like it's hitting the same area as this one. So we don't need 2 people hitting that, or two instruments. So I'm just gonna take that out. It's already taken out a lot in the Tantra there, but not in the original. Same with the bass, like I already have the bass here hitting this. This one. And this one. So this is when I might go back into the track and say, okay, maybe one of these elements doesn't need to be there. Let's try something different and replace that so that you're not having 3 or 4 major elements of the track hitting in the same mid frequencies. But yeah, that would take some time and some experimentation, and who knows what I would come up with. But yeah, so I think that's it. I definitely want to thank Balance to Divide and the Basic Wavez team for bringing me on board for this challenge and this idea. And I hope everybody enjoyed watching me produce this track. And I guess keep your ears out, because maybe you'll hear this track as a Dowden release in some way, shape, or form in the nearby future, I guess. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next videos.